Hello, and welcome to another episode of Desh or Diaspora. Today's episode is titled The Abuse of All Religions and Their Impotence Against Mass Murder in History is Well Documented. What does that portend for India? If you've seen my videos, you know I believe people are people, not religious labels. And as much as I dislike using any religious labels that divide us, in today's India, the lines have been clearly drawn by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his cohorts, hell bent on dividing the country. There's a big difference between the political ideology of Hindutva and the genuine liberal faith of most Indians. So let me make it clear that by exposing Hindutva, I am not criticizing Hindus for practicing their genuine, large-hearted faith. But here's something many folks don't know. I wasn't aware of this too. The two words, Hinduism and Hindutva, are not thousands of years old. I thought Hinduism was thousands of years old. It isn't. Both these words appeared during colonial rule in India. The Encyclopedia Britannica notes that the term Hinduism was coined around 1830 by English writers during the British Raj. What about the word Hindutva? Interestingly, that too appeared first in Bengal in the 19th century. It was the title of a book by Chandranath Basu, not Savarkar. Basu was a contemporary of Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, the composer of Vande Mataram. The book was called Hindutva, an authentic history of Hindus. Now, how did the BJP succeed in polarizing India? Seneca, the Roman philosopher, made this observation. Religion is regarded by the common people as true, by the wise as false, and by the rulers as useful. The BJP strategically politicized and exploited an ancient religion. Whether it has yielded to their machinations and to what extent they will succeed remains to be seen. India has all the world's religions, but the BJP chose to poison a tolerant Hinduism by weaponizing Hindutva. Indians don't realize this yet, perhaps, but Modi's attempt to create a Hindu Pakistan and pervert with hate 1 billion Hindus is a stupid short-term strategy. In my opinion, it is similar to what the Islamists are trying to do to pervert 1.8 billion Muslims. Sometimes I get feedback demanding, what about Hindus and the discrimination they face? It's a sort of a both sides argument that attempts to diminish and equalize the widespread oppression of India's minorities that is so blatant and undeniable. Yes, Hindus have faced and do continue to face discrimination, but they do not have to endure ongoing lynchings, mob violence, state-sponsored discriminatory policies, and persecution in India. Whereas minorities experience extreme oppression, deprivation, and humiliation. The majority of Hindus, like the majority of Muslims, are not inclined to killing and violence. It would mean giving up their dharma for adharma. The professor and poet Purushottam Lal aptly points out that the English language has no equivalent for the meaning of dharma. Merely calling it faith does not do justice. Lal defines dharma as the, the code of good conduct, a pattern of noble living. The majority of Hindus will not choose adharma. They understand why Sri Ram is called Maryada Purushottam, the embodiment of all virtue that they aspire to. How can they surrender their true convictions to fanatics who have usurped their religion? Well, if Mr. Modi doesn't deliver the goods, and it is obvious he is not able to do it with his authoritarian, sectarian incompetence, like ISIS in the Middle East could not deliver an Islamic state, Mr. Modi will get what's coming sooner or later. But in the meantime, he is devastating India, and Indians are paying a hefty price for trusting him, like Germany did for trusting Hitler. In this two-part video, I want to look at how easily religion is overcome when the truth is obscured. There are many examples in history, but we'll see how that happened to German Christians during the reign of Adolf Hitler and his Nazi ideology. And we'll also examine what is happening to Hindus in India today during the reign of Narendra Modi and his Hindutva ideology. In Germany, the majority of German Christians basically surrendered the truth for Nazism. Are Indian Hindus going to do the same? What were the truths that German Christians relinquished? What were the consequences? And what are the truths Indian Hindus are giving up, and what will be the consequences? In 1933, shortly after coming to power, Hitler introduced a doctrine known as Gleichschaltung, bringing into line. He wanted all of German society to fall in line with his Nazi ideology, to implement Ein Volk, Ein Reich, Ein Führer. One people, one realm, one leader. His goal for Nazi Germany, that was his goal. Hitler made absolutely no exceptions, and the Christian church was not exempt from Gleichschaltung. I hope I got that pronounced right. German theologian Dietrich Bonhoeffer stated that Nazism brought an end to the Christian church in Germany. Bonhoeffer, only 39 years old, was one of the few Protestant clergymen who tried to overthrow the Nazi regime, and he paid for it with his life. The Nazi ideology and Christianity were profoundly incompatible. Yet, surprisingly, most Christians in Germany identified with Nazism and did not share Bonhoeffer's conviction that the two worldviews were fundamentally opposed. But Hitler, however, had no doubt that Nazism and the Christian faith were irreconcilable. How did Germany's Christians respond to Nazism? In her book, Twisted Cross, Doris Bergen, professor of Holocaust studies at the University of Toronto, explains how German Christians sought to remove all Jewish elements from the Christian church. This group of Protestants, including clergy, rejected the Old Testament, expelled people they defined as non-Aryans from their congregations, and denied the Jewish ancestry of Jesus. What was the result of German Christians compromising the truth? The abuse of all religions and its impotence against mass murder in history, all religions, is well documented with repeated occurrences. The Holocaust of 6 million Jews murdered is only the most comprehensive documentation, perhaps, of genocide, where an estimated 20 million died at the hands of the Nazis. not just the 6 million Jews. How long will Indians fall in line with Modi? Is the farmers' revolt that is going on today just the beginning of a Jan Andolan, like in Gandhi ji's time, to fight for freedom from Modi's version of brutal brown Sahib colonial rule? We'll continue next week with part 2. Thank you for watching.